Email came through with 4 documents. She gave me a copy of her license. She gave me a picture of a credit card. She gave me a picture of an insurance card. And then she gave me a picture of a Massachusetts state ID. And I start looking, I'm like, all right, something doesn't really seem right, but let's see what's up. What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti here, and I have been in business for a long time, and that is because I am able to say no to business. And I choose to say no to business because I've learned over time things that become more of a headache if you just try to give people the benefit of the doubt instead of thinking that people are trying to screw you and either steal your car or steal your service. And when I say steal your service, they're going to get the car, they're going to return it, they are who they say they are, but they're not intending on paying for it. They're using a stolen credit card or passing a bad check or something along those lines where they want everything, but they don't want to exchange the money in exchange for that. So I have become very good at picking up on stuff and seeing when those red flags go up. And that is the reason I still have a Range Rover here. Well, it's not here right now, but that's why I still have a Range Rover, because I had a woman call me up this past weekend who I believe had every intention, at the very least, of defrauding me out of my service. And I'll show you why in a second. But even worse, she could have also been trying to steal a car, because those flags did go up where they're trying to buy more time to then make the car vanish. And I'll get into that right after we open up the phone call here. But we had a woman call us up. She was looking for a last-minute rental, and I am happy to share these red flags with you guys. Am I helping competitors? Absolutely. But nobody likes a thief, right? So if I can help another company, whether they're legitimate or not, avoid having their car stolen, I think it's a better place for everybody. That's one less insurance claim. That's one less headache for somebody. May keep them in business a little bit longer, but ultimately, that's not the point of this. The point of this is to tell you what I see that raises a flag that brings that next level of scrutiny on a rental that's being placed. So here is the phone call.
Hi, yes, good afternoon. My name is Alexandra. I'm calling because I'm interested in booking the Mercedes-Benz G550 from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
We no longer carry that car. We have a Range Rover, or we have the Lamborghini Urus for the SUVs that we have.
Okay, I'll take the Range Rover.
Okay. And for what date did you need it?
I need it from today until the 23rd.
All right, so right out of the gate here, she's looking to rent the car from the same day until the 23rd. She calls up late in the day. Obviously, I don't have the ability to make that happen because she is not local, and I don't have my trucks available on standby because they're already out delivering vehicles. So what I do is I tell her I can get her a car tomorrow, but I can't get it today.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you deliver to Baltimore?
We can deliver to Baltimore too.
Okay, yes, that's where I was coming from. So, yeah, I can do this for tomorrow.
Okay. So tomorrow until the 23rd.
Until the 24th. We're going to
24th, okay. So right there, she just moved her rental, the end date of her travel plans, from the 23rd to the 24th. Not entirely a red flag, but very strange that somebody who needed the car till the 23rd now needs it for an extra day. It just didn't make a lot of sense. But that didn't prevent me from continuing on with the phone call and attempting to book the rental. And then what's the delivery address?
It's the Four Seasons, Baltimore, Maryland. It's 200 International Drive.
All right. And what's the return? Is it going to be picked up at the same place?
Yeah, that's fine. So
still no red flags, right? It's a long-term rental being delivered to a $1,000 a night hotel, or at least a $1,000 a night hotel. It makes sense because our customers stay at nice hotels, and when they stay at a nice hotel, they like a nice car. So far, so good. Do you have your insurance company name and policy number handy?
I do. It's all
Whenever you're ready. All right. And then the billing address of the credit card?
Ugh.
So we always take the billing address of the credit card because we don't always assume that the billing address is going to match the address that's on the license. It's very standard, but we always do that. And this is the first time I start to get an inkling that something's weird.
EE Road.
Okay.
Portland.
And that's...
Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, that's Portland, Oregon?
Yeah, 97211.
Okay, and whose name is on the card?
My husband.
Okay, I need a copy of his license as well, because it's out of state and the zip code has to match.
Okay.
All right, that's the first red flag, right? This woman lives in Virginia. She's staying at a hotel in Baltimore, Virginia, same area. She's staying at a very nice hotel in Baltimore and then renting a car. If she lived in Virginia, she would just drive to the hotel. So something doesn't add up. And then you add on the fact that she's paying with a credit card that bills to the other side of the country in Portland, Oregon. For her husband's credit card, still not a deal breaker here, but definitely starting to raise suspicion that something's not right. And then if you could send that over, so if you could just email over a copy of the license and a copy of the card, I've got everything else we need, and we can process the rental and get it all set and delivered down to you tomorrow. I just need the credit card number as well.
Okay. 1 second, because we don't know which one we're using. So let me,
Okay.
I can send that well with everything, okay?
Yeah, if you could send it with the copy of the license, and then we can get that processed.
Okay, not a problem.
All right, you got it.
Thank you.
Take care. All right, that's another flag. I don't know which credit card I'm using, but you gave me a billing address out of state for a credit card. Again, not a deal breaker, but the next phone call I made was to the office and said, I sniff something doesn't seem right, right? Like there's just enough of an oddity that we have to look into it and make sure we're double checking that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. So she sent me over an email, and the email came through with 4 documents. She gave me a copy of her license. She gave me a picture of a credit card. She gave me a picture of an insurance card. And then she gave me a picture of a Massachusetts state ID. And I start looking, I'm like, all right, something doesn't really seem right, but let's see what's up. And I'm reading the email here. She said, and the billing address is still the same. Mary is my stepdaughter. She hasn't updated her identification yet. Shake my head. Please let me know if anything else is needed. And if the card declines the first time, just run it again. It has to be approved on our end. Thank you. I was like, all right, this doesn't make sense. She said it's going on her husband's card out of Portland, but then it's now billing to her daughter, or what is it, her stepdaughter, who's in Massachusetts, who doesn't have a driver's license, but has a state ID card. And then you've got this crusty old credit card, just a photo of the back, which is a Varo card, which I've never heard of. And I start looking into it, and the card looks like crap, but the numbers look great. And then I realize that these are terrible Photoshops, right? And if you zoom in on it, you'll see just what I'm talking about. Because when you start zooming in on the credit card, and I'm talking really in, you'll see that the numbers on the credit card are actually spaced out differently and overlaid over other numbers that are not as legible underneath, as is the name. And now you have a card that's absolutely destroyed and like ripped in half and everything like that, and just something doesn't look right. So then I'm like, all right, the card is obviously a fake. Let me look at the license. And you look at the ID card from this woman in Massachusetts, and I'm like, all right, this doesn't look right. Like, I'm used to looking at licenses, not ID cards. Let me look on the Massachusetts state website and see what this ID card is supposed to look like. Sure enough, not only is this like essentially a completely crappy Photoshop. It is like embarrassingly bad. Like, and it doesn't even line up. A Massachusetts state ID card is good for 5 years. This one was issued in 2014 and it just happens to expire in a month in 2024. That's not possible, right? And then you look, there's different fonts on here, right? The font for this is different than that. There's font on top of other font. Like everything about this ID is shot, like it just doesn't, everything looks wrong. And that's why I was like, all right, this is not going to happen. She's giving me a fake ID, a fake credit card. And then I'm like, let me just look at her insurance anyway, just so I know. And she seems to be like a wealthy person staying at $1,000 a night hotel and blah, 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 blah. And even her insurance card, which I didn't even bother calling to verify because I said there's no way I'm doing this rental. The car on it is for a 2011 Toyota Camry, right? Like who's spending, not even questioning the price of anything, and renting a car for thousands of dollars, spending thousands of dollars at a hotel, and also driving a 2011 Camry, right? None of it makes sense. And that's why I was like, all right, we're going to pass on this rental. We're not going to be able to help you out. But that didn't stop her from calling back to check in and see what was going on and seeing if there was any issue with the car.
Yes, this is Alex. I spoke with Rob earlier. I sent my credentials over. I was just waiting for a response to the rental for tomorrow.
This is the P530. Yeah, I see it here.
So Shavam's looking in our back end system and he sees it was listed as a quote until it's paid. It's a quote, and then when the credit card and everything goes through, then it moves over to confirmed.
Yeah, it still says verifying. Let me ping. He's on the phone right now. Let me ping him via our messaging system, and he'll get back to you right away.
So Shavam reached out to me. I said, no way we're renting to this girl. Look at these documents. They're incredibly fake. I responded back to her email then and said, I'm sorry, I don't think I can accept a Massachusetts state ID and that credit card. I would need another form of payment in your name. She said, that's fine. Can you send over an invoice and I'll take care of it? I said, actually, the documents you sent over appear heavily doctored and we will not be able to provide a vehicle to you. I'm sorry. So that's where it left off. She didn't fight that. She recognized that she was caught, and that's where that rental stopped. Now, what are some of the flags that I saw in this transaction that made me say, wait a second, let's add this extra level of scrutiny? And a lot of employees might just overlook this stuff. Yeah, we got the license, we ran the license came back. Here's the ID and the credit card for the third party that's paying for it, et cetera, et cetera. We got the credit card to go through. Here's your car. The only thing is that's not going to result in me getting money ultimately, and it may result in me having a car stolen. And here's why I say having a car stolen, because generally people who are committing fraud will just be one and done, right? Time is not on your side when you're committing a crime, because that gives time for the vendor, the credit card processor, everybody to figure out that there's a fraudulent activity going on and catching you in the act. You want to get your satisfaction out of whatever you're doing and then move on and then disappear into the wind. And that's where when somebody rents a car for a longer period of time, and you saw how she moved the rental to make it longer, it may be buying them enough time to try to make the car disappear, to get it onto a container. Because if somebody rents a car for a day or two and I think they're sketchy, we may look at the GPS, we may keep an eye on them. But if somebody rents it for a couple of weeks, you're like, all right, whatever, I don't have to bother looking at it. It's a couple of week rental. Why would I even be concerned? I'm not expecting it back. It's not late in being returned or anything like that. You sort of turn your head, and that's when a car can ultimately vanish. So that's a big tell. Generally, when people don't question the pricing when the car is being delivered to a high crime area, you're talking like Philadelphia, Portland, DC, Newark, like one of these areas that just the crime is very up there and there's not a lot of wealth in the area, and you have somebody spending a lot of money without questioning it, is another red flag that would make me question it. And then when you have a third-party payment, somebody or they know the process. Oh, if it gets declined, just give us a call and we can authorize it. And stuff like that is always a flag. And here I was able to see that. I was able to sniff this one out. And luckily, we were able to prevent the car from going out. It did go out the very next day to somebody else, but we did not have to run the chargeback game. We did not have to run to do with anything with the cops or to go 5 or 6 hours down to try to recover a car in the middle of the night. I know that makes great YouTube content, but I rather avoid it. Rob Ferretti, thank you for watching. If you're trying to prevent your car from being stolen and make sure you're doing a legitimate transaction, I hope some of these tips helped you out, and we will see you soon. I'm sure there'll be more fireworks coming because we're now in season and things are getting busy. Rob Ferretti, see you next time.